Imagine a hidden force field that not only protects your soul, but also carries you across dimensions. Ancient mystics, Egyptian priests, and modern spiritualists all spoke of this sacred power, but few truly understand it. Today we uncover the complete story of the Merkabah, what it is, where it comes from, and how it can transform your spiritual journey forever. If you're serious about spiritual awakening, this is one symbol you must know. The Merkabah is one of the most mysterious and powerful spiritual concepts ever passed down through ancient wisdom. But what exactly is it? The word Merkabah is actually made up of three smaller words. Mer, meaning light, Ka, meaning spirit, and Ba, meaning body. Together, they describe a divine light vehicle, a field of energy that can carry the spirit and body from one dimension to another. It is not just a symbol, but a living, breathing structure of light, capable of expanding human consciousness beyond the material world. The Merkabah is often envisioned as a geometric formation. Two interlocking tetrahedrons spinning in opposite directions, one pointing upward, the other downward. This rotation of sacred shapes creates a dynamic energy field that harmonizes the spirit and the body, surrounding the person in a sphere of protective and transformative light. Imagine an energetic spaceship, crafted entirely of pure consciousness and sacred geometry, that can travel beyond the physical plane into higher realms of existence. It is believed that every human being has a dormant Merkabah field surrounding them, waiting to be activated through spiritual practice and awareness. When activated, the Merkabah serves as a powerful tool for spiritual protection, enlightenment, and ascension. It shields the practitioner from lower energies, strengthens their connection to the divine, and allows their consciousness to move freely through different states of being. Some traditions even suggest that the Merkabah is the key to achieving immortality of the soul, granting the individual the ability to transcend the cycles of death and rebirth. It is not simply an esoteric idea. It represents the blueprint of the universe itself, a cosmic structure embedded in our very being, designed to reconnect us with the source. To fully grasp the depth of the Merkabah, we must travel back thousands of years into the ancient world, where whispers of this sacred force first began to emerge. The concept of the Merkabah can be traced to the early religious traditions of ancient Egypt, where the soul's journey after death was of profound importance. Egyptian spirituality emphasized the ability of the soul to traverse the many realms of the afterlife, and some scholars believe that the idea of the Merkabah originated here, encoded within the practices and beliefs surrounding the afterlife journeys, described in texts like the Pyramid texts and the Book of the Dead. The Egyptians saw the body, spirit, and soul as distinct but interconnected elements. Ka represented the life force, while Ba symbolized the soul's unique identity that could move between worlds. When combined with Mer, the divine light, the concept of a light vehicle emerges, a means by which the soul could navigate the unseen dimensions after death. Images of pharaohs ascending to the heavens in chariots of fire, led by the gods themselves, align closely with what we now understand as the Merkabah. The journey of the Merkabah continued into the mystical branches of early Judaism, particularly within the tradition known as Merkabah mysticism, which flourished between 100 BCE and 1000 CE. This school of thought centered on visions of the divine chariot described in the Hebrew Bible, most notably in the Book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel's vision of a magnificent chariot, carried by four angelic beings with spinning wheels full of eyes, is considered one of the earliest recorded descriptions of the Merkabah. These visions were not mere religious poetry. They were detailed mystical blueprints for ascending to the heavenly realms. The practitioners of Merkabah mysticism developed intense spiritual practices involving meditation, chanting, and purification rituals, aiming to ascend through the 7 heavenly palaces and behold the glory of the divine throne. Only those who were spiritually pure, deeply disciplined, and rigorously prepared could undertake the perilous journey of the soul to the divine presence. The Merkabah was both the vehicle and the method for such ascensions, a bridge between the earthly and the heavenly realms. Beyond Egypt and Judaism, echoes of the Merkabah appear in many other spiritual traditions around the world. In Indian spirituality, the concept of the Vimana, flying chariots used by gods and sages, shares uncanny similarities. In the East, Taoist energy practices describe rotating fields of qi that sound remarkably close to the spinning tetrahedrons of the Merkabah. Even indigenous shamanic traditions speak of spirit bodies traveling across the cosmos in luminous vehicles of light. Across continents and centuries, cultures who never met each other somehow describe the same sacred phenomenon, a divine mechanism by which the spirit, once awakened, could transcend the physical, explore the multiverse, and ultimately return home to the infinite. At the heart of the Merkabah's mystery lies its extraordinary symbolism and sacred geometry, a language of shapes and patterns believed to be older than civilization itself. The Merkabah is most often depicted as two interlocking tetrahedrons, forming what is known as a star tetrahedron, a three-dimensional Star of David. These two pyramidal structures are not static. They are imagined as spinning in opposite directions, creating a dynamic, powerful field of energy that surrounds the body like a luminous shield. The upward-pointing tetrahedron represents masculine energy, the force of action, movement, protection, and giving. It is linked to the element of fire and to the expansive energies of the cosmos, reaching upward toward the divine. The downward-pointing tetrahedron, on the other hand, symbolizes feminine energy, the force of nurturing, receiving, intuition, and grounding. It is associated with the element of water and the grounding energies of the earth, pulling spirit into form. When these two fields spin together, they create a harmonious balance between opposites, the dance of spirit and matter, heaven and earth, light and darkness, masculine and feminine. This balance is not merely symbolic. It is the essential foundation for spiritual evolution. When the Merkabah is activated and spinning correctly, it generates a perfectly balanced electromagnetic field around the body, harmonizing the individual with the energies of the universe. Ancient teachers believed that through this sacred geometry, the human being could align themselves with the very fabric of creation. The Merkabah is not just a spiritual idea. It is a precise energetic structure that mirrors the architecture of galaxies, stars, and even atoms. As above, so below. The same divine intelligence that patterns the macrocosm patterns the microcosm. Sacred geometry holds that the universe is not random, but ordered according to divine ratios and forms. The flower of life, the seed of life, the Metatron's cube, all these powerful symbols are intimately connected to the Merkabah. In fact, the Merkabah can be seen as a core component of the Metatron's cube, representing the dynamic, living nature of consciousness moving through different planes of existence. The interlocking tetrahedrons create a perfect matrix for light to flow, for spirit to expand, and for higher realities to be accessed. Many spiritual practitioners use the image of the Merkabah as a meditative focus, visualizing the spinning fields of light around their bodies. As they deepen their meditation, they begin to feel shifts in their awareness, greater clarity, heightened intuition, deep inner peace, and an overwhelming sense of connection to all life. The sacred geometry acts like a key, unlocking deeper layers of consciousness that are normally dormant. Through the Merkabah, individuals report experiences of astral travel, divine communion, and even visions of future timelines. But this power comes with responsibility. The spinning fields must be balanced, harmonious, and aligned with the heart's highest intentions. If approached with ego, imbalance, or greed, the Merkabah remains dormant, or can even create energetic distortions. True activation requires purity of heart, discipline of mind, and a sincere longing to align with the universal will. It is not merely about personal power. It is about stepping into one's rightful place as a conscious, co-creative being in the universe. Throughout history, mystics, sages, and spiritual warriors have spoken of the light body, the rainbow body, the body of glory, all different names for the awakened Merkabah. It is the perfected vehicle of the soul, the shining armor that allows the individual to traverse realms of existence while remaining anchored in divine love. It is the marriage of spirit and matter within the human form, the realization that the body itself, when purified and activated, becomes a living temple of light, capable of navigating infinite dimensions. In the sacred geometry of the Merkabah, we find a profound truth, that every human being is born with the potential to transcend limitation, awaken their divine nature, and journey home to the stars. The Merkabah is the bridge, the map, and the chariot, all waiting within us, ready to be remembered and awakened. Understanding the theory behind the Merkabah is powerful, but the true magic happens when it is activated. For countless generations, spiritual seekers have searched for ways to awaken the dormant light vehicle around their bodies, to ignite the spinning fields of energy and step fully into their divine potential. Activating the Merkabah is not simply a mystical exercise. It is a profound spiritual practice that involves the harmonization of mind, body, spirit, and breath. The process of activation begins with awareness. One must first recognize that the Merkabah exists, that it is not an abstract concept, but a real energetic structure surrounding each person, lying dormant like a seed waiting for sunlight. Ancient teachings emphasize that intent is critical. The Merkabah does not respond to idle curiosity or fleeting interest. It is activated through pure intention, deep devotion, and a sincere desire to align with the highest universal truths. Breathwork is one of the foundational tools for awakening the Merkabah. Specific patterns of breathing, slow, rhythmic, and intentional, are used to charge the body's electromagnetic field. Breath acts as the bridge between the physical and the spiritual, the tool that synchronizes the mind and body with the subtle flows of energy around them. Practitioners often employ sequences of prana breathing, visualizing the twin tetrahedrons spinning faster and faster with each inhale and exhale, creating a whirling field of light that gradually grows stronger and more vibrant. Visualization is equally important. Ancient methods, as well as modern interpretations, teach that by vividly imagining the star tetrahedron surrounding the body and seeing it rotate in opposite directions, the upward-pointing tetrahedron clockwise, the downward-pointing one counterclockwise, a practitioner can begin to stimulate the Merkabah into action. The mind, focused sharply through visualization, acts like a key, unlocking the dormant fields and coaxing them back into motion. Mantras and affirmations often accompany these practices. Repeating sacred phrases, invoking divine names, or affirming one's connection to light and love can amplify the activation process. Sound carries frequency, and frequency impacts energy. Vibrationally attuning oneself through voice or silent repetition is another way to harmonize the Merkabah fields and invite their awakening. Some modern teachers, such as Drumvalo Melchizedek, have gone further to systematize Merkabah activation techniques for a new generation. His teachings outline a step-by-step approach, combining breathwork, sacred geometry visualization, heart-centered meditation, and spiritual intention. According to Melchizedek, the fully activated Merkabah spins at near-light speeds, creating an interdimensional vehicle that can project consciousness into other worlds and realities, enabling the practitioner to experience realities beyond the third dimension, while still rooted safely in the body. Yet, with all these methods, one crucial truth remains. Activating the Merkabah is not a mechanical or purely technical task. It is a journey of transformation. It requires purification of the heart, the release of lower energies like fear, anger, and jealousy, and the cultivation of love, compassion, forgiveness, and humility. A fully active Merkabah is said to resonate directly with the frequency of unconditional love. Without this resonance, the spinning fields either remain inert or operate at diminished capacity. Some spiritual traditions also suggest that the physical body itself must be prepared through clean living, eating high-vibration foods, maintaining a strong connection to nature, practicing ethical living, and avoiding substances that cloud the mind or lower the body's energetic frequency. The Merkabah responds to purity in all its forms: purity of thought, purity of heart, purity of body, and purity of soul. As the practitioner continues to work with breath, visualization, and intention, they often experience subtle shifts, a sense of weightlessness during meditation, flashes of inner light, heightened intuition, or dreams that seem more real than waking life. These are signs that the Merkabah is awakening. Over time, with dedication and patience, the fields grow stronger, more stable, and more luminous. The practitioner becomes enveloped in a constant energy of light, moving through the world with greater ease, clarity, and spiritual power. Ultimately, the goal of activating the Merkabah is not escape, not to abandon the physical world for some distant astral plane, but to live fully and consciously here, now, while maintaining an unbreakable connection to the divine. The activated Merkabah allows the practitioner to become a bridge between worlds, a living conduit for higher energies, a guardian of light in a world so often shrouded in darkness. The path to activating your Merkabah is both a journey inward and a blossoming outward. It is the slow unfolding of the soul's highest potential, the realization that the power to transcend limitation has always been within you, waiting to be remembered, waiting to be set free. When the Merkabah is fully activated, it is not just an abstract spiritual concept. It becomes a living, breathing reality. It is no longer something you meditate on from a distance. It is part of you, an extension of your consciousness, a sacred vessel that moves with you, shields you, and elevates you at every level of existence. To live with an active Merkabah is to step into a completely different relationship with life, the universe, and your own soul. An activated Merkabah does not just protect you energetically. It fundamentally transforms how you interact with the world. Every thought, every action, every breath becomes infused with a deeper awareness of the interconnectedness of all things. You move from seeing yourself as a separate, isolated being, struggling through life, to recognizing that you are a radiant node of consciousness, part of a vast and intricate web of divine intelligence. Every step you take is supported by unseen forces. Every moment becomes an opportunity for growth, healing, and spiritual expansion. Those who live with an active Merkabah report a profound increase in synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that seem almost too perfect to be random. They find themselves guided effortlessly to the right people, the right opportunities, the right lessons. Intuition sharpens to a razor's edge. You begin to feel when a choice is aligned with your higher path and when it is not. You may even sense energies around you, the subtle fields of others, the unseen layers of nature, the movement of spirit through places and objects. The Merkabah becomes, in a very real sense, your personal starship of consciousness. It allows you to access higher dimensions of thought, creativity, and understanding, while remaining grounded in this physical world. Many report dreams that feel like interstellar journeys, visions of sacred geometries, or encounters with beings of light. Some even experience a deep sense of timelessness, as if they have momentarily stepped outside the linear progression of past, present, and future, into a state where all possibilities exist simultaneously. But the greatest gift of a living Merkabah is not in the mystical experiences it unlocks. It is in how it transforms the heart. As your Merkabah spins and strengthens, your heart center naturally expands. Compassion flows more freely. Forgiveness becomes easier. Judgment gives way to understanding. You begin to see others not as obstacles or threats, but as fellow travelers on a sacred journey, each struggling, learning, and seeking in their own way. Living with an active Merkabah also brings a profound sense of protection. In times of chaos, conflict, or fear, your energy field remains stable and secure, like an unshakable fortress of light. Negative energies, harmful intentions, and spiritual attacks have little to no effect when your Merkabah is strong. It acts as a natural shield, maintaining the integrity of your energy, your mind, and your spirit. You become a beacon in dark places, not because you force your light outward, but because it radiates effortlessly from your being. The Merkabah also enhances healing, both for yourself and for others. Some advanced practitioners learn to use their Merkabah fields to channel healing energies, to clear blockages, and to restore balance wherever it is needed. In this way, you do not simply become a passive recipient of light. You become an active participant in the co-creation of a more harmonious world. Ultimately, activating and living with your Merkabah is not about escaping this reality. It is about embodying your highest potential within this reality. It is about remembering who you truly are, a being of light, woven into the fabric of the universe, destined not just to survive, but to shine. The Merkabah is the ancient key to unlock that destiny. Every spiritual tradition speaks, in its own language, of a future where humanity rises into a higher state of being, a time when the walls between the physical and spiritual worlds grow thin, and when each person awakens the dormant light within. The Merkabah is not just a tool for individual transformation, it is a glimpse into that collective future. When enough individuals activate their Merkabahs, the world itself begins to change. Consciousness lifts, healing spreads, the veils fall away. The complete story of the Merkabah is not just a story about ancient Egypt, or Jewish mysticism, or sacred geometry. It is the story of your soul's journey, a story that has been unfolding since before you were born, and that continues beyond the boundaries of this life. It is a call to remember, to awaken, and to rise. The question is no longer whether the Merkabah exists. The question is, will you answer the call to activate it, to live it, and to become the radiant being you were always meant to be? The Merkabah is already within you. It has always been there, waiting, glowing softly beneath the noise of everyday life. You are not just a body. You are not just a mind. You are a luminous being, crafted from the same light that shapes the stars. Now is the time to remember. Now is the time to rise. Activate your light. Awaken your true self, and step boldly into the infinite.
Welcome to this journey where we dive deep into the full story of the 5D ascension, something that every spiritual seeker, every lightworker, and every awakened soul needs to know. You might have heard bits and pieces about the fifth dimension, about a new earth, about a higher level of consciousness. But today, we are going beyond the surface. We are uncovering the complete story, the real meaning, and the powerful truth behind this spiritual evolution. Right now, humanity is standing at a crossroads. On one hand, we see chaos, fear, and division still dominating much of the world. But on the other hand, something extraordinary is happening beneath the surface, an awakening, a rising, a calling back to who we truly are at our core. Many people are feeling it, sensing it, even if they cannot fully explain it yet, a feeling that there is something more, something bigger happening beyond the physical world we see. In this video, we are going to explore everything you need to know about the 5D ascension, what it actually is, where it comes from, the stages you will likely go through, the signs that you are ascending, and the major misconceptions that can hold you back. This is not just another trend. This is not just another buzzword. This is the greatest shift humanity has ever experienced on a soul level. So if you have ever felt like you are different, if you have ever questioned why you feel disconnected from the old ways of living, if you have ever sensed that you are here for a deeper purpose, then stay with me until the end. Because what I am about to share may just be the confirmation and the clarity your soul has been seeking for a long time. Get comfortable, take a deep breath, and open your heart, because the full story of the 5D ascension is about to unfold, and once you understand it, you will never see yourself or the world the same way again. The 5D ascension is one of the most profound and transformative journeys a soul can embark on. It is the process of shifting from living in a dense, fear-based reality into a higher frequency of love, unity, and expanded consciousness. When we talk about 5D, or the fifth dimension, we are not referring to a physical place you can travel to in the traditional sense. Instead, we are talking about a state of being, a vibration, a level of awareness that operates on an entirely different frequency from the reality most people are used to. In the third dimension, or 3D, life is centered around survival, competition, ego, separation, and linear time. People identify heavily with their physical bodies, their status, their achievements, and their material possessions. Everything is seen as solid, tangible, and limited. Time is viewed as a straight line from past to future, and the dominant emotions are often fear, anger, jealousy, and control. The fourth dimension, or 4D, is a transitional space. It is the bridge between the dense 3D world and the expansive 5D reality. In 4D, people start to awaken. They begin to question old systems. They seek healing. They explore spirituality. They feel the pull towards something more meaningful. Emotions can still be intense in 4D, but there is also a growing awareness that thoughts and feelings create reality. People in 4D are learning to master their inner world and to see beyond the illusions of fear and division. Then there is the fifth dimension, the 5D, where consciousness is fully anchored in love, in unity, and in the realization that everything and everyone is interconnected. In 5D, there is no separation, no judgment, no scarcity. The dominant emotions are unconditional love, peace, gratitude, and joy. Time becomes fluid, more like an ocean than a straight line. You begin to experience synchronicities, instant manifestations, and a deep sense of trust in the flow of life. Living in 5D means you no longer react from fear. You respond from love. You no longer see others as separate from yourself. You recognize the divine essence in all beings. You do not need to control outcomes, because you understand that everything unfolds according to a higher wisdom. You trust your intuition more than external noise. You create from a place of inspiration rather than desperation. This ascension is not about leaving your body behind or escaping your life. It is about bringing the light of your highest self into your human experience. It is about embodying your soul's truth in every action, every thought, and every interaction. It is about living as the bridge between heaven and earth, between spirit and matter. More and more people are feeling the call to ascend into 5D consciousness, and even though the process can be intense, even though it requires letting go of old patterns, the rewards are beyond anything the third-dimensional mind can imagine. The world seen through the eyes of 5D is vibrant, alive, magical, and full of infinite possibilities. And every step you take toward it brings you closer to the life your soul has always known was possible. The idea of the 5D ascension is not something new. It is not a modern invention created by a few spiritual teachers in recent years. In fact, the roots of this knowledge go back thousands of years, scattered throughout ancient prophecies, sacred texts, and indigenous wisdom from all around the world. Many ancient cultures knew that humanity would one day face a great shift, a transition into a higher state of consciousness. And they left behind clues to guide us through this powerful transformation. The Mayan civilization is one of the most famous examples. Their calendar system, particularly the ending of the long count calendar in 2012, was never about predicting the end of the world as many misunderstood. Instead, it signified the end of an old cycle and the beginning of a new era. The Mayans understood time in cycles, and they believed that around this time, humanity would be offered the opportunity to move into a higher vibration, a shift from darkness and ignorance into light and wisdom. Similarly, ancient Indian scriptures such as the Vedas and the Upanishads spoke of the great yugas, or ages of time. They described cycles where consciousness would fall into deep slumber and then eventually rise again into enlightenment. Many scholars and spiritual teachers believe we are now moving from the Kali Yuga, the age of darkness and division, into a new golden age where divine consciousness returns to Earth in a much fuller way. Indigenous tribes across the Americas, Australia, and Africa have also carried oral traditions about a time when humanity would remember its connection to Mother Earth and to the stars. The Hopi people, for instance, have prophecies about the emergence of a fifth world, a new reality based on peace, harmony, and spiritual unity. These messages all align with the concept of moving into a fifth-dimensional consciousness, where fear and separation dissolve and love reigns supreme. In more modern times, during the late 20th century, the term ascension became more widely used within the New Age and metaphysical communities, as more and more people began to awaken spiritually. Many channels, intuitives, and lightworkers started receiving messages from higher realms. They spoke of Earth undergoing an energetic upgrade, a vibrational shift that would allow those ready to ascend into a higher state of being while still embodied in their human forms. The significant date of December 21st, 2012, although misunderstood by many, marked an energetic gateway. It was a point where a major cosmic alignment took place, opening the potential for mass awakening, however, rather than a sudden overnight change. This event acted more like the striking of a tuning fork, sending ripples of new frequencies throughout the planet, triggering personal and collective transformations that continue to this day. The 5D ascension is not something that happens to us passively. It is a conscious choice, a commitment to inner growth, healing, and awakening. It is part of a divine plan for humanity's evolution, but it also honors our free will. Not everyone will choose to ascend at the same time. And that is perfectly okay. Every soul has its own timing, its own journey, and its own lessons to complete. Understanding the origins and the prophecies behind the 5D ascension gives us a much bigger perspective. It reminds us that we are part of a much grander story unfolding across the cosmos. It reminds us that what we are experiencing now, with all its chaos and challenges, is not the end, but rather the labor pains of a new world being born, a world that our ancestors dreamed of, a world that our souls came here to help create. When you realize that you are living through a time that ancient prophets and visionaries spoke about, your everyday struggles start to take on a new meaning. You are not just surviving another day. You are participating in the greatest transformation humanity has ever seen. And that is something truly extraordinary. The journey of 5D ascension does not happen all at once. It unfolds in powerful stages, each one preparing you to step deeper into your true essence, each one designed to strip away the illusions that have kept you bound to fear, doubt, and separation. The stages of ascension are not always linear. They can loop, repeat, and intertwine depending on your soul's path and your willingness to grow. Understanding these stages can help you trust the process, even when things feel overwhelming or unclear. The first stage is awakening. It often begins with a deep inner stirring, a sense that something is not right with the world you have always accepted. You might start questioning the systems around you, your job, your relationships, the media, even your own beliefs. You might experience a sudden event that shakes you to your core, something that forces you to look within. For many, this stage comes with a lot of confusion and emotional pain, but it is also the beginning of remembering who you truly are. The second stage is purging and healing. Once you wake up, you cannot unsee the truth, and everything that is not aligned with your soul's highest frequency starts to surface. Old wounds, traumas, toxic patterns, and limiting beliefs rise up so that they can be healed and released. This stage can be extremely intense. You might feel like your entire life is falling apart. You might experience dark nights of the soul where everything feels meaningless. But remember, the breakdown is necessary for the breakthrough. You are not being punished. You are being purified. The third stage is activation. After much of the old energy has been cleared, you begin to connect more deeply with your soul's gifts. Your intuition sharpens. Your energy sensitivity increases. Synchronicities become a regular part of your life. You might feel drawn to new interests like energy healing, meditation, sacred geometry, ancient wisdom. You start to remember that you are much more than your human identity. You are a multidimensional being with a divine purpose. The fourth stage is embodiment. It is not enough to have spiritual knowledge in your mind. You are called to live it. Embodying higher consciousness means aligning your thoughts, emotions, actions, and choices with love and truth. It means setting healthy boundaries, speaking your truth, following your inner guidance, even when it challenges the norms around you. Embodiment is where real change happens, because you are no longer just talking about ascension. You are becoming the living expression of it. The fifth stage is service and co-creation. As you embody more of your true self, you naturally feel called to be of service to others. Not from a place of martyrdom or obligation, but from a place of overflow and authentic love. You realize that your gifts are not just for you. They are meant to uplift, inspire, and heal the collective. Service can take many forms. Some are healers, some are teachers, some are artists, some are simply holding light within their families and communities. Together, we start co-creating the new earth, a reality based on unity, respect, compassion, and shared purpose. Throughout all these stages, there are common experiences you may encounter. Your body might go through physical changes, often called ascension symptoms, like fatigue, headaches, changes in appetite, sleep disturbances, and emotional surges. Your relationships may shift. Some connections may fall away while others deepen. Your priorities change. Material success may lose its grip on you, and your desire for deeper meaning becomes the driving force in your life. It is important to remember that ascension is not about becoming perfect. It is not about escaping challenges or living in constant bliss. It is about expanding your consciousness to the point where you can navigate life's ups and downs with grace, wisdom, and love. It is about holding the frequency of your soul, even when the world around you feels chaotic. Each stage of ascension brings you closer to your authentic self, closer to living a life of freedom, joy, and deep inner peace. And even though the journey can be challenging, the reward is beyond anything the mind can fully comprehend. It is the return to who you are always meant to be, a sovereign, radiant being of light walking the earth with purpose and power. When people hear about 5D ascension for the first time, there are many misconceptions that can arise, and these misunderstandings can sometimes cause unnecessary fear, confusion, or disappointment. It is important to clear them up, so that the true meaning and beauty of ascension can be fully embraced. One of the biggest misconceptions is that ascension means leaving the physical body behind. Many people imagine that moving to the fifth dimension means disappearing from Earth or becoming some kind of ghostly being. But in truth, 5D ascension is about integrating higher frequencies into the physical experience. It is about bringing the light of higher consciousness into your everyday human life. You are not escaping the world. You are transforming how you live within it. Another common misconception is that ascension will happen suddenly for everyone at the same time, like a big cosmic event where the whole world instantly shifts. While it is true that certain energetic gateways can accelerate the process, ascension is ultimately a personal journey. Each soul ascends according to their own readiness, their own soul contracts, and their own choices. It is not a race. It is not a competition. It is a deeply individual path of awakening and growth. There is also a misunderstanding that once you ascend, your life will be perfect and free from any challenges. Some people think that reaching 5D means you'll never feel sadness, anger, or fear again. But this is not how true ascension works. Ascending to 5D does not mean avoiding emotions. It means you experience them with greater awareness. You move through them without being controlled by them. Challenges may still arise, but you respond to them from a place of wisdom and love rather than fear and reactivity. Another misconception is that you have to follow a strict spiritual routine or be part of a specific group or belief system to ascend. True ascension is not about external rituals, dogmas, or labels. It is about inner transformation. It is about expanding your consciousness, living with integrity, loving yourself and others deeply, and following the guidance of your own heart and soul. Your path will not look exactly like anyone else's, and that is perfectly okay. Finally, some people believe that if they are not feeling constant bliss, or seeing visions or hearing messages from higher beings, they must not be ascending. But the truth is, ascension symptoms and experiences vary widely from person to person. Some people have vivid spiritual encounters. Others simply notice subtle shifts in their thoughts, emotions, and energy. Every path is valid, and you are not failing just because your journey looks different from someone else's. Understanding these misconceptions allows you to release unnecessary pressure and fear, and instead trust the organic, beautiful unfolding of your own ascension process. You are exactly where you need to be, and your journey is unfolding in perfect divine timing. Aligning with the 5D timeline is not about forcing yourself to be different. It is about allowing your natural state of love, truth, and expansion to come forward. It begins with your intention, when you choose with your whole heart to embody higher consciousness. You start to shift your energy in powerful ways, setting the intention daily to align with love, unity, and authenticity helps anchor you onto the 5D path. One of the most important practices is cultivating presence. The more you stay in the now moment, the more you dissolve fear, worry, and judgment which belong to the lower dimensions. You can practice presence by simply paying attention to your breath, noticing the sensations in your body, and gently bringing your awareness back whenever your mind wanders. The present moment is where your power lives. And it is through presence that you align with the higher vibrational frequencies of 5D. Another powerful way to align is by healing and releasing what no longer serves you. Old fears, resentments,